live from ESPN Studios in South Beach. It's the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Billy created a character called People before any of us actually knew what People. Then, a few months later, a guy comes to work for us, and his name is actually People.
Yeah! People!
People's here!
Yeah!
People! People, what's happening? People, the coffee supplier is here!
Oh, my God!
People has arrived heroically.
No, people, no.
You guys want shots?
It's too early for this. Too early for shots. Even by Miami standards, it's too early for the aggressive.
One more time.
Down the hatch.
All right, everybody, throw it down.
Oh, wow, people.
People drinking it straight from the cup. Jesus. Wait a minute. How did Billy end up not wearing a shirt?
That's not great.
My childhood.
What? You gotta shake it because it's chocolate water, not chocolate milk.
Where's Tang? Tang's not on the list.
What?
Tang is not on the list?
The gold medalist, okay? Water.
I mean, just necessity.
Overrated.
It's necessary.
Overrated.
Exactly.
I disagree too, Roy. I know you feel lonely on this. Water is not overrated. Water is underrated.
But without water, there's no yoo-hoo
There's
because
no
that is
yoo-hoo.
not milk.
There's no
It's
yoo-hoo
chocolate
without
water.
Yes, right.
Chocolate water.
Water is an ingredient in everything.
Yeah, where's Pepsi?
Where's Sprite?
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I have a child.
No, settle down. No, you're too loud. It didn't work. We told you it wasn't going to work at that volume. Start again. Do it better. We got to do it better than that. We told you that volume would not work on the Zoom.
My city!
Oh. We've got a locker room commotion. Yes, locker room commotion. They beat the Celtics at the Celtics' own Game 4, white guys. We were just rooting for Myers Leonard to get in the game. We'll do it your way too, Celtic fans. Keep waiting for Gordon Hayward. It'll be fun watching him chase around on that ankle, Duncan Robinson. Tremendo what, Billy, what is it that Sixto said? What, Jimmy Butler has what? Jimmy Butler has tremendo cojones. Thank you, Billy, for sitting it out like the executive that you are.
Series is wicked over.
The Boston locker room had a commotion, Stugotz. There was reporting from the Boston locker room. Malika Andrews Marcus Smart is screaming at someone in the Celtics locker room or several people. The yelling continues as Smart exits the locker room swearing. Also from Malika Andrews, there were loud clanks like someone throwing items coming from the Celtics locker room. We have what Christine Lisi is exclusively reporting is a locker room commotion.
Well, what Brett Favre would call a schism. How about that?
I don't know if it's a schism yet. I think after 3 games, maybe you need a schism. I don't think we've qualified as schism yet.
You had babyface Brad Stevens between the third and fourth quarter, and if Marcus Smart, the reports are that he was yelling at teammates before or after the game. After the game is this report. I believe every word of that report. And I believe that could be the case any game the Celtics play that Marcus Smart is yelling at someone after the game.
I believe that that's a perpetual state for Marcus Smart. That for the Miami Heat is now 5 double-digit comebacks in their last 6 victories. Bam Adebayo is supposed to join us in 25 minutes if he wakes up. Mike Ryan, even though the series is not over, Mike Ryan, at the end of last night's game, Jimmy Butler going behind the back with his opposite hand. The Heat right now, Celtics, are beating you with their opposite hand. Mike Ryan sat down in an uncomfortable chair and did something that I would wish upon no person in this audience. Listen to calls to sports radio from irate Boston Celtics fans.
Oh, that is heaven.
There are not many teams or cities that will get us to sit in an uncomfortable chair and listen to sports radio calls in the middle of the night unless we get to take a soft and warm soak in your tears, Boston.
There aren't many cities that get calls in the middle of the night, period.
That's right. But the Boston radio stations were filled with complaints about Tatum's elbow and Marcus Smart getting mad at everybody and Brad Stevens getting out coached. 2 games in, the Miami Heat are the team from the bubble. I guess both of them and the Nuggets. Weird pandemic season. 5 out of 6 comebacks. And there is a headline on ESPN.com.
Just kidding, losers. You don't get that song. You're shipping out all right.
Doubt it.
Have the Miami Heat broken the Celtics is the question on ESPN.com. Has there been a breaking of the Celtics as there's a locker room commotion? That is where we are, people.
Yes.
Miami fans, soak that in, slather it, rub it on your nipples. You've got a situation in Boston where there's a locker room commotion and headlines that say, have the Celtics been broken? That's where we are with this situation in this series right now.
I love that. 2 games on a neutral court. Is the team broken? And it is. I believe the Celtics are broken.
I mean,
do.
Doesn't every team look broken at 2-0? Like, if you're on the wrong end of 2-0, isn't that an assignment that we could give every team that's ever been down 2-0?
It's impossible to be down 2-0, especially when you lose 2 on your home court with the logos on your court. It's impossible for you to not feel broken. Yes, you're right.
I don't think the analysis ever after 2-0 when you're up is the locker room commotion. It's the sound in the bubble of somebody throwing weights. That doesn't sound hygienic or safe. Marcus Smart just hissing because he wants everyone to be as tough as he is, but he's looking and finding those people in the other uniform, and one of them has a ponytail or man bun. His breath smells like kombucha. And how about him breaking over? And he used to be a Celtic. He used to be your favorite kind of player, you know, a fan favorite. Kelly Olynyk.
A hard worker.
A grinder.
A guy with deceptive speed.
Maximizes his talent.
Had to hurt. That big 3 in the third quarter last night had to hurt C fans. I mean,
Goran Dragic from a war-torn country. What is going on with Goran Dragic? These sightlines in this bubble, like, honest to God, if you want to sit here and talk about pandemic distortions, when you hear these people talk about the sightlines in the bubble allowing for better shooting, some of these playoff games are a little more high scoring that you might expect playoff basketball to be, even with the new math of the threes. But if we're talking about who is going to get the advantages in the absence of a home court, it's going to be a great shooting team with better sight lines. Like that, it's if you're looking for why the Heat are 10-1 and are doing things that are unexpected and have come back from 5 out of their last 6 victories are double-digit deficits, that's a pretty good place to start.
Regardless of sight lines, though, Dragic is hitting some of the most – you have to hit those shots, and he is hitting ridiculous shots. These are step-back threes that he's hitting. I mean, it's crazy.
Right, it's a two-way street, too. Marcus Smart is also shooting a lot better inside the bubble, so it does level the playing field. But if you were looking to poke holes in the Miami Heat's performance and apply the dreaded asterisk, usually Duncan Robinson doesn't have that kind of performance on the road. It's hard to have role players perform like that on the road. But the sightlines, absolutely. I'm sure someone's going to do a quantifiable study on exactly what's happening.
Because the Heat, look, their ball movement has been great all season. They're unselfish. They have rest now because they're not traveling all over the place. But we can all definitively say, as people who have watched the Miami Heat play basketball, and it's not just the scoreboard and it's just not just the winning, they look overwhelming. Like they look offensively very well distributed.
And Kirk Goldsberry has to be the overwhelming favorite to write that article, right, Mike? Yeah.
Is he?
Or Haberstroh.
More than Haberstroh?
Yeah, we need to know what's going on with the sightlines.
So somebody is writing in here that Jimmy Butler has made 28.1% of 267 jumpers. The question mark and the headline from Goldsberry is "Let Jimmy Shoot?" Out of 190 NBA players that tried at least 200 jump shots this season, Butler ranked last in both field goal percentage, 28%, and effective field goal percentage, 33%. And it's why he doesn't shoot it that often. And the Celtics just lost to 4 of 11 Jimmy Butler.
And bizarrely enough, his three-point shooting has come on inside the bubble. I think Tim Reynolds tweeted out that he made 17 straight threes in warm-ups. So people are shooting the ball better.
Wow, we've got a locker room commotion on one end, and we've got people counting jump.
Hold that thought. Let's sell some ads.
Makes you feel alive, though, doesn't it? I mean,
counting of warm-up jumpers.
Yes.
I would say it just makes me feel slightly more normal. You know, you got a lot of weird things happening. You got hurricanes, you got fires that are producing tornadoes.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this in Arizona, but on a weather map, a team or flock of bats appeared on a meteorological map. And then you've also got Cardi B divorcing Offset. So you've got all those things happening in apocalyptic America. Stugotz, tune in, please. Tell the people about TuneIn.
Yep, as the NFL season gets underway, make sure you are ready everywhere you go with TuneIn and ESPN Radio. Hear in-depth analysis of your favorite team all season long. Plus, fuel your football fandom by listening to ESPN's biggest football podcast on TuneIn, including the Adam Schefter podcast, Fantasy Focus Football, and the Mina Kimes Show with Lenny. Download the free TuneIn app to start listening today. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is changing the way you buy home insurance. Now you can go online, get a custom quote, and save both time and money. Learn more at Progressive.com. All guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Loan.
All right, so I want to understand, Chris, because we work this out and we rarely work stuff like this out. If you were listening to the digital-only hour before we started our national show, we were actually practicing on the Zoom the correct volume level for Chris Cody to begin the show, and then it descended into what sounded like bedroom sounds, and it was all uncomfortable. And then we started the show, and we told you, as we started the show, we specifically said in the previous segment, hey, most of this is all ad lib. We're not scripting anything, but we need to check the sound volume on this Zoom. So let's practice Chris Cody enthusiasm. And so, Chris Cody, the national show started. You were leading us, and your mic immediately short-circuited because you were doing all sorts of calisthenics and somersaults in your home. You were screaming way too loud, and no one can hear what you were screaming. So can you explain to me what happened there?
I'm sorry that I did not scream at the top of my lungs at the right volume for you. Okay. As you can hear, my voice is shot after that. So you're welcome. But I mean, and then there was I feel like there was audibles being called at the last second. I was just trying to bring it, man. And I thought I did. I'm excited for this Heat team. I'm sorry. I'll dial it back a little next time. I'm sorry.
But we practiced during the digital hour, and then you came out and did what you weren't supposed to do. That was the frustration.
No, stop blaming Chris. Like, once we realized that the Zoom audio wasn't working exactly how, I'd overcompensate by playing the song super loud, which probably prioritized the audio. So he had no choice but to be muted because the song was taking precedent.
In Chris's defense, as just an observer, I was also somewhat confused because right before there were hands swinging and there was just overheard punt on the bit. And Chris, as the open started, said, wait, am I going first? Like, turned on his microphone. I'm like, oh my God, that's going to come out on the air. But he's like, do I start? Am I going first? And then he's like pointing at himself and no one's looking.
It was like one of those football plays where the quarterback's trying to change the play and audible, and then he's waving the receiver. No, go back that way. Go back that way.
Hold on.
And Chris
is why
is
we don't
waving
script
to see what's
things.
going on. And my only help was, and I shrugged my shoulders.
Yeah, okay. And I noticed all of this. And so this is what I want to let the audience behind the curtain. The reason that we're so good at just generally reacting to incompetence around here is because we're experiencing it so often that we've had to develop a muscle that just sinks into it being awful. That was us trying to plan something, and it went as expected. Mike got angry and said punt on the bit. Chris Cody was confused, looking at the Zoom and at the wrong volume, and Billy was just an amused observer, just looking and being like, oh, this is funny and weird. What do you mean, no? You just admitted to that.
No. Because at first I heard punt on the bit, so I'm wagging my finger saying, no, you're not starting. And then I said, you know what? If he doesn't start, and then there's
I didn't hear punt on the bit.
No one heard that.
Who said punt on the
my
bit?
body was
No
saying
one.
punt on the bit, but I certainly never vocalized punt on the bit.
I did see Billy do the Matumbo finger. I did see him do that.
Nobody told me to punt on the bit. I'm just waiting for Chris to come in at the right volume, and he does not come in at the right volume. He's just screaming, and all I see is sort of his freckled loins because he's not wearing pants.
What is this? The Celtics locker room? Okay, stop with the finger pointing. Look, the play broke down. We tried to make the most of it when the play broke down. We're not Lamar Jackson. We're decidedly not the MVP of when plays break down. Let's just build on this, get better, because we're going to have 2 more victories to celebrate.
There, see, that's better.
That's all we needed.
That's it. That's all we were looking for. That's all you needed to do. We worked it out. You were making the uncomfortable sexual sounds. We had worked the whole thing out. It was appropriately sensual. You had conjured up the images of Larry Bird on a sideline, delicately towel snapping someone's fanny. And then you just ruined the whole thing. And Billy, of course, blamed everybody and sat it out. What are you shaking your head no for?
I offered a suggestion. I said, do it over the phone and the audio won't crap out. And you guys said, oh, no, we can't do that. So, okay, do whatever you guys want.
Okay, so there it is.
You bailed on us.
So you did.
I did not bail.
Yes, you did.
Whatever you guys say.
Okay.
You guys are always okay.
Thank you. That's all we wanted to get to. We are expected to have Bam Adebayo next, but he might be sleeping, in which case we might have Tim Kirkshin next, but it might not be him, and it might just be us bickering some more.
Hold that thought. Let's sell some ads.
Bubble has fun nightclubs that they can go to celebrate a win like that last night. You think he was out late at Club Bubble?
No, he was honestly in bed 20 minutes after that game finished. I still haven't had 100% confirmation because he's been sleeping for over 12 hours now.
Advance Auto Parts, people. Tell the people, Stugotz.
Yep, diehard batteries are like the rare breed of athlete that always plays with a lot of power, but you can also depend on to be on the field game after game. You ask me, that's the type of performance you want under your hood. So head to Advance Auto Parts where you can get the reliability, durability, and power of diehard with free testing and installation from Advance team members. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See stores for details.
Not a big boy like I am.
Stugotz.
If you are here from Iowa, leave.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Bam Adebayo, the biggest star in sports right now. Going to join us in just a second on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line.
But first, I'm really sorry we keep doing this to you. Christine Lisi, you were saying.
And finally, NBC has announced that Jim Carrey will play Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden on this season of Saturday Night Live.
Thank you, Christine. I'm
right.
looking forward to that. That should be fun. And Alec Baldwin is going to be playing Donald Trump. So Bam Adebayo is with us on ESPN Radio. Should probably congratulate him for his star turn.
You agree, biggest star in sports right now,
I mean,
right?
he got his moment, and people are impressed. And if you did not know this name, this is a name you're growing to know in this bubble. Kendrick Perkins has some trouble with the name.
Bam Adebayo, well coached by Eric Spoelstra.
Do that again. Yeah, you can hear him laughing. Do it again. Just
Bam
keep it.
Adebayo, well coached by Eric Spoelstra.
That's so great.
Bam Adebayo, well coached by Eric Spoelstra.
We're tickling the giant. Just keep tickling
Bam
him.
Adebayo, well coached by Eric Spoelstra.
Bam, how many times? Thank you for joining us. Can you just put a number on this? And congratulations on the victory. How many times have you seen your offhand blocked shot on video?
I mean, every time Sports Center popped up on our TV or ATV.
Yeah,
So,
I would imagine.
Yeah, but I delete social media because of playoffs, so I didn't really see it that much on social media. But on the TV, I definitely see it a lot.
Well, explain this to me because everyone keeps saying around the Heat are built for the bubble. Explain that to me.
We can't really explain it. You got to be in the culture to understand it.
Oh, wow. It's a Kane thing you wouldn't understand. It's a Heat thing you wouldn't understand. What do you mean I wouldn't understand? You can't explain to me what it means that to be built for the bubble. You guys, I take it, aren't doing a lot of complaining about the conditions or being away from people.
It's just one of those things. I feel like I said earlier, you gotta be a part of the culture to understand, and then you'll understand how to beat the bubble.
Bam, what do you say to people? Right, you guys have mastered the bubble.
They beat the bubble. They beat the bubble.
Right. Well, it's 6 to go, and then you beat in the bubble. But what do you say to people who are trying to minimize this, saying, you guys, you're doing it on neutral courts. You don't have to go on the road. I find it to be patently absurd. I'm not one of those people, just so you know. But what do you say to those people who are saying that, Bam?
Nothing. You just
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Leave it right there.
He is one of those people. He is absolutely one of those people.
Bam, I'll explain it for you because Dan seems to have a problem understanding what Heat culture is. It's the hardest working, most committed, nastiest, most competitive, most disliked team in the NBA. That's what it is inside the bubble. That's how you beat the bubble, Dan. Am I right, Bam?
I mean, that's a part of it, but like I said, the outside looking in part. Being in the culture and being a part of the team that's in this bubble, it's different.
Can you explain to the audience, for those who don't understand, because you're mild-mannered, you're not somebody who is, that we can necessarily imagine getting into a confrontation with Jimmy Butler, but everyone on the team communicates that way, correct? In terms of not afraid to tell each other the things they might not want to hear?
Yeah, that's a big thing about a team. Trust and honesty and communication. And, during the midst of a game, you don't know how anybody's emotions are going to go. So somebody might say something to you. It might, from somebody looking at it, it might look wrong, or it might look like it's coming off wrong. But, from me to Jimmy or Jimmy to Duncan or Goran to Jay Crowder, we understand that it's nothing personal.
Is there a guy above all others on the team? I mean, it might be UD still, for all I know, that is most known as, hey, he's not to be trifled with. Like, it's okay. We could have those sparks and the confrontation, and all of that is okay. But at the end of that, that's the guy who's most not to be trifled with around here.
Us going against each other or us going against somebody else?
Against each other. I'm talking about, like, because things can get heated. They can get competitive. They can get emotional because Pat Riley doesn't mind. Back in the day, Alonzo Mourning getting in his face and, Pat Riley saying is, hey, you could say F you to me, but just teach me something.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we all are. We're all like that.
Bam,
it's not just one particular person. Like, we're all built like that. We all might come off and say something at somebody during the game, and it might sound wrong, but at the end of the day, we know it's to help one another.
Bam, the next time you saw Jason Tatum after that block, was there, like, what happened? What was that interaction like? Did you wink at him? Did you give him a nod? Like, what happened?
No, I haven't, well, besides us playing in Game 2, I haven't seen him around in the bubble. So, me and Jason played AAU together, so we knew each other for a long time. But I ain't seen him yet. It's the playoffs. I'm worried about the Miami Heat.
All right, is it really like that, though? If you run into a guy in the bubble from another team that you're playing, you got nothing for him? You got nothing to say to him because it's the playoffs, it's the bubble, and you're built to beat the bubble?
I feel like that's how it's supposed to be in any playoffs condition, no matter if we're in Miami or if we're in Boston. Like, it's the playoffs. Like, we're trying to win just like they're trying to win.
Bam, I read about your now infamous workout with the Miami Heat where they were putting you through kind of routine drills where they were testing your agility, and you told Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, oh, you must have me bleeping confused. And still, people doubt you. You can guard 1 through 5. Are there any point guards in the NBA that still think they can take Bam Adebayo and got him bleeping confused?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to explain that for you. I can't answer that, but I feel like you can ask some of the guards around the league.
I want to ask this way. Are there times that you line up against a point guard and you see all the confidence in the world in that point guard's eyes because they think that they can take a center like you and you know you got him?
Yeah, I've been in that position before.
You're a bad man, Bam. I mean, you really
This
are.
is a little uncomfortable, all the fawning around Bam Adebayo. We can be slightly less fawning about this. Is your wrist okay? Is the boo-boo okay? Like, everything all
My
right
wrist
there?
hurts watching it.
It was very painful watching you do that.
concerned about you.
Your fingers, everything okay?
Yeah, I'm straight. I'm fine.
Yeah,
good. All right, we got
Well, how
6
did you
to go,
do that?
man,
How
all
did
right?
you do that? How was that done? Explain to us offhand. How does that happen?
Like an offhand block?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just jumping in general.
Just all of that.
Just you. How do you happen?
How did that happen?
Yeah, without getting tired.
Without getting tired. I made a play. I mean, the playoffs are made for players to make plays, and I just made a hell of a play.
Popovich chose Plumlee over you. Have you forgiven him?
Nope.
I haven't.
Can he answer, please?
He did with his laughter.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
That's it?
It's no hard feelings, man. Like, they had to make a decision. That's their decision. Everybody has opinions, and that was their decision. So I had to live with that.
Way too diplomatic. Bam Adebayo with us on ESPN Radio. What are some of the cool things in the bubble? What are some of the things? I know you're built for the bubble. You don't have a lot of time for distractions, but have you snuck over to the teacups?
Nah. I went fishing once.
That's it. That's decadence. For
It's
Bam,
all, listen,
for
Dan,
Bam Adebayo.
it's all about,
fishing.
they're chasing a championship.
Business trip.
Yeah, he doesn't go fishing. He sends teams.
He's fishing for a ring. I mean,
Bam, Mark Jones reported that Jimmy Butler doesn't like his birthday. So for his birthday, he had his chef make you guys really nice meals, and you had to come up and pick them up and then go to your room to eat them. He also made this a business trip. Were you guys allowed to say happy birthday to Jimmy Butler?
Yeah. Some of the rooks sang him happy birthday.
Oh, just the rookies.
Yeah, the rookies. The rookies got to sing happy birthday.
Who had the best singing voice?
Oh,
Tyler, right?
oh, for the love of God.
Definitely Chris Silva.
Yeah?
Wow, really?
Deep.
A beautiful.
Monotone.
A beautiful. Can you explain to us the relationship between Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero?
I mean, they're kind of like brothers. I mean, you're going to have to ask them their relationship. But for what I see, they're kind of like brothers. Like Tyler kind of, gravitated towards Jimmy before the season started. And, Jimmy's been helping him ever since.
You're my brother.
Tyler Hero's from Wisconsin. I don't understand any of that. How is that from Wisconsin? Does that make any sense to you?
It does. It does. I mean, he's different, as everybody can see. He's definitely different.
Do you have anywhere on because you said you're not on social media, do you have anyone who's put for you somewhere? I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but the most amazing picture I saw of the block was the one where your wrist is that close to the rim and the ball is being denied.
Wait until he gets out of there and he turns on his social media.
Are
you a big star, man?
Have you seen the photo I'm talking about, Bam?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What do you do with that? Like in terms of putting it in your house or celebrating it, screensaver in the future, what do you do with that?
I don't know. We'll wait till the end of the series, and I'll figure it out from there.
I know you're off social media. Magic Johnson called it the greatest block in
postseason.
And he was right.
Come on.
And he undersold it.
Come on. Rachel Nichols already asked him about
Bam?
this.
Yeah.
We're doing reruns.
Greatest.
It's magic. First of all, it's magic. The man played with a lot of great players. Yeah. So for him to say that, that's kind of like a big accomplishment.
I thought you were saying it was magic, and it was. It has nothing to do with Magic Johnson. It was just magic. Bam, thank you for being on with us. This run has been a lot of fun for Miami. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Hold that thought. Let's sell some ads.
He's all business right now.
Really
he's more confident and more focused than I've ever seen him before.
I really thought we hit it off.
He's 23. I'm embarrassed by how we behaved there. Embarrassed by the entirety of our show. I'm embarrassed on behalf of ESPN. Just embarrassing.
We really struck up a relationship.
You guys, we were swooning in a way
feel like we
that's
bonded.
not. It's not uncomfortable. It's not comfortable.
It felt like it was one way. It was one way.
It really was. We were flirting with the beautiful woman at the bar who wanted nothing to do with us. ZipRecruiter, people, tell them, Stugotz.
What if a quarterback completed 4 or 5 of his passes, or a point guard hit 4 to 5 shots from behind the arc in front of virtual fans cheering him on? Well, now when you're hiring, you can play at that level, because 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day, no matter the industry, healthcare to manufacturing to business services. ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And today, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. ZipRecruiter doesn't wait for the right candidates to find you. ZipRecruiter's AI scouts talent for you. First, when you post your job on ZipRecruiter, it gets sent out to over 100 of the top job sites. Then, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right skills and experience, and invites them to apply to your job. So you get qualified candidates fast. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Our listeners can go to ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. That's ZipRecruiter.com/DAN. ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Batard.
Number 3, Chick-fil-A waffle fries.
Yeah, we can get behind this.
Love it.
I mean,
Nah, I think it's an overrated fry.
you guys go ketchup or Chick-fil-A sauce when you have the Chick-fil-A
Chick-fil-A.
fry?
Polynesian sauce.
Polynesian, baby.
wow.
That's my brother right there.
Good call.
You're my brother.
Stugotz.
Oh my god.
What a weird interaction.
Wow.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Today on ESPN Daily, after knocking out the Clippers, the Denver Nuggets tip off against LeBron and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Zach Lowe breaks down the series on ESPN Daily. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Tim Kirkshin is going to join us here in about 10 minutes, but a tweeter writes in, you could hear the point while they were talking to Bam in which Stugotz realized he was setting himself up for another Ronda Rousey type of smackdown, and he quickly put it in reverse like a star in a tornado movie, realizing the tornado is heading right for him.
What do you say to people who say if you're the UFC's biggest draw, the biggest star, that the UFC is in a bad place right now, needs more stars?
Well, the same thing that I think about people that quote some people. It's usually them stating their own opinion, but don't want to take any heat for it.
That's a good memory.
That you remembered it. It's the reason I noticed it. It's the first evidence I have of you learning anything. In the middle of it, you realized you put it in reverse because you're like, I have not been doing that. I have not been saying such things, Bam. I want to sink into that interview for a second because I don't expect you, the audience, to have enjoyed it, but I can't explain to you how much we enjoyed it. The just incessant, stupid fawning. The incessant, stupid fawning was something that was really uncomfortable if you're the audience and you're listening to that and you're not a Miami Heat fan.
Stupid. Stupid. I'll give you that we were fawning and it was nonstop, but stupid. I mean, this dude deserves it.
Nothing stupid about it. There's a couple of ways you can go with interviews because I'm certain the audience did not enjoy that. I agree with Dan. But when the guy is giving you, okay, the person you're interviewing is giving you a lot, then we don't have to do that. When he gives you nothing, and he wasn't giving us a lot, he's tired, he's got a lot going on, it's a business trip, we then have to fawn.
No,
we do.
We asked the wrong questions because he was willing to talk when Chris inexplicably asked him about wonderful Miami Heat singing voices, and he gave you an answer that was startling. Chris Silva.
Yeah. Who's out with like a fractured groin.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a fractured groin?
Yeah, it's a hairline fracture along the groin.
Oh
but to be able to get the high notes, as Bam just pointed out, is impressive.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, please. Did you know you could fracture your groin? Because that is not something I even knew could possibly happen. Chris, were you proud of yourself that you squeezed out of Bam? You squeezed a good answer out of him. You got some facts. He wanted to talk. You really cracked him open.
It's the obvious follow-up when somebody says that people sang. It's the obvious follow-up.
Kirkshin, next.
It is Dan and Stu from the Clevelander in South Beach on ESPN Radio.
Yeah, shimmy yam, shimmy ya. I'm a dirty old dog all day. No way, Jose. Your girl only go one way. Ah, ye madre.
Every week during the baseball season, ESPN's premier baseball insider joins Dan and Stugotz to drop some hardball knowledge and take your calls.
2 + 2, I'm gonna undress you. 3 and 3, you're gonna undress me. 4 and 4, we're gonna freak some more.
Here is Dan Batard, Stugotz, and Tim Kirkshin on ESPN Radio.
All guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Tim Kirkshin going to join us there in just a second. Don't forget to listen to ESPN Audio at Home via your smart speaker, ESPN Audio at Home. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Vans. Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out how far an extra mile really goes. From customization and service to financial assistance, Mercedes-Benz Vans are ready for anything.
The telephone number is 786-456-4837 if you want to talk to Tim Kirkshin. He always has a very strong and informed perspective when it comes to skill levels in that sport. And I was mentioning earlier in the show, Tim, that I'm sitting there watching Urena against Eovaldi yesterday. These are two guys who are just mediocre by, the standards of the sport. But what they were doing yesterday looked to me like Kevin Brown in his prime, winning 20 games, throwing a shot put up there. So before I get to Christine Lisi, it's very important to me to hear from you to explain to me how it is that this skill level has arrived in such a place where Urena and Eovaldi are throwing 99 miles an hour. They're hitting the black again and again, and they're not the good pitchers in this sport.
Right, Dan, this all changed several years ago when the pitchers just got their brains beat out every single night. and they said, all right, we're going to do something about this. They all got bigger and stronger. They all hired a pitching coach when they were 8 years old. Now they've developed this ridiculous velocity. They have secondary pitches that guys 20 years ago simply didn't have. They throw so unbelievably hard. They never throw a fastball in a fastball count anymore. And most days, the hitters have absolutely no chance to get a hit off most of our pitchers today. When they locate, you are out. You can know what's coming, and they can still get you out. Lance Berkman's final year in the big leagues, he told me every single night, this is like 6 years ago, someone comes out of the bullpen throwing 95 miles an hour, and I've never even heard of him. This is where we are in the game right now, Dan. That's why the strikeout rate is so unbelievably out of control. I keep track of 4 strikeout games every day for individual hitters, 3, 4, 5 guys a day now. That's how hard it is to get a hit in the big leagues. And yet, if you miss location with these hitters today and the way they approach and the way they can get the ball up in the air, they don't just hit a single to left field. They hit it 30 rows up.
Christine, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
And finally, we're closer to the year of the television show The Jetsons was set in, which is 2062, than the original air date of the series, 1962. How about that?
How about that? Timmy, I had a weird argument with my friend the other day where I was the one arguing that the Dodgers being plus 108 through 51 games is one of the most impressive things in the history of Major League Baseball. Am I wrong?
It's pretty darn good, Stugotz. Only 5 teams have ever outscored their opponents by more than 2 runs per game, and that's where the Dodgers have a chance to be at the end of the season. Now, other teams, of course, did it during 162 or 154 games, which is even more remarkable. The 39 Yankees outscored their opponents by 411 runs in a 154-game season. That's just pounding people, and that's what the Dodgers can do because they pitch so well and they can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Tim, back to stud pitchers for a second and let you know, I just want you to know that there's a right answer to this question. I want you to choose, you have 3 pitchers in the major leagues to build around. If you want to start a rotation right now, choose the 3 pitchers you're going with.
Well, Sixto Sanchez is number 1.
Man, Tim Kirksey, that's what I'm talking about.
Sixto.
Number 1. Number 1, Kirkshin.
Right, and Sandy Alcantara is number 2, and Pablo Lopez is number 3.
He played a joke on me. He's kidding.
The
That was
Marlins
a joke.
have,
you got me.
So he just did that to you. He really got me too. He is absolutely on to you. That's the meanest thing Tim Kirkshin has ever done.
You weren't kidding about Sixto, Tim. Come on, be honest.
Look, that kid is great. And all kidding aside, this is why the Marlins, who are the 5th seed at the moment, if they get in, at this point I think they might, they're going to have 3 starting pitchers that no one wants any part of in the postseason. So there is hope for the Marlins, and Sixto Sanchez has been tremendous. And we all know he was traded for JT Realmuto, who's a great player and is going to get paid unbelievably in the offseason, but this is the reward for trading your everyday catcher.
Now answer that question seriously.
Well, Garrett Cole is too old to be on that list, but he is ridiculously good still. We haven't seen anybody like Garrett Cole in some time. Last year, fellas, he struck out a batter in 73 consecutive innings. Think about that for a second. We went back and tried to find the last guy who had anything close to that, and Pedro Martinez, 1999-2000, struck out a batter in 49 consecutive innings. Garrett Cole was at 73 consecutive innings. That's how dominant a pitcher he can be. And with the way the Yankees are swinging the bat right now, which is absurd, by the way, and Cole gets back to real form, then that's pretty good.
When Pedro Martinez says of Sixto, he's a mini-me with better stuff, that can't be right, correct?
Nobody had better stuff than Pedro. Nobody, Dan. He, for a short period, like 5 years, is the greatest pitcher I have ever seen. The 99, 2000 seasons combined, his ERA was 3 runs lower than the league average for a 2-year period. He was 190. The major league average was 490. He, at one point, had, I believe, the best fastball, changeup, and curveball in the game all at the same time. No other pitcher that I can remember has ever had even the 3 best pitches in the game all at the same time. I mean, Koufax, fastball, curveball, probably in the 60s, but not all 3. That's how great Pedro was, and he's very charitable with things, but no matter how good Sixto Sanchez becomes, he will never be as good as Pedro Martinez, because I have never seen anybody that good for a short period, at least in my life.
So what you're saying, Tim, is Pedro Martinez is a liar.
He's a what?
A liar.
A liar. Liar.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, Pedro was just being very nice to Sanchez, who deserves all the credit he gets, but he's not Pedro. Nobody is Pedro.
All right, so do you believe that Matt Patricia looks like the son of a motorcycle repair shop owner who can upgrade your front suspension, but he has to, quote, check with the old man first? Does Frank Vogel look like a mild-mannered small-town dentist whose basement harbors a dark secret? Does Adam Silver look like the lone icy twig on a tree in the dead of winter? Does Mike McCarthy look like he belongs, or he's been the top salesman at the Tri-State's largest above-ground pool and hot tub emporium for 5 years running, and he's got the custom-made belt buckle to prove it? Does Mike Budenholzer look like the tech CEO who is now in a full body cast from sustaining a serious injury falling off a horse at a ranch he took his employees to for a weekend team building retreat? He does look like that. Budenholzer, 2-time MVP. The guy's never been to the finals. Tim, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys. See ya.
Pay that man his money.
Advance Auto Parts, Stugotz, tell the people what they need to know.
Yep, diehard batteries are like the rare breed of athlete that always plays with a lot of power, but you can also depend on to be on the field game after game. You ask me, that's the type of performance you want under your hood, so head to Advance Auto Parts, where you can get the reliability, durability, and power of diehard with free testing and installation from Advance team members. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See stores for details.
Batard.
Every single syllable that just came out of your mouth was wrong.
Stugotz.
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Quoting home insurance just got easier with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Quote and buy all online at Progressive.com. If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show, plus our Miami-only hour and the Big Suey on demand in the ESPN app. And subscribe to the Le Batard and Friends podcast network featuring South Beach Sessions, Stupidity, and Mystery Crate. Please rate and subscribe. New episodes are posted every week, wherever you get your podcast. Dan, it is time for Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless.
What did you do with Stupidity this week? When did it drop? What's on it?
We dropped it today. There was such an overwhelming demand for a weekly weekend observation podcast. Everyone loves that crew. So we debuted our first weekly show this week. It is out right now. and we were joined by the great Mel Kiper Jr. How about that?
So it was very popular on Sunday mornings, correct? You did it for many years on Sunday mornings, and people really like that show. It's like the most popular show in the history of Sunday morning ESPN radio.
We did it Sunday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. for a couple of years, me and Mike Gola Jr., and when I did it as part of Stupidity, it was the most downloads we would get as episodes. That was the most downloaded episodes we would get anytime I had that crew together. And so we just decided, hey, let's do it weekly. So I'll be doing 2 episodes per week, one by myself and one with that crew.
Okay, very cool. Check out Stupidity wherever it is you get things on your devices. I wanted to bring Tim Kirkshin back because I forgot to ask him about the baseball play from yesterday, which is not something I've seen before. Now, first of all, Josh Donaldson, I don't understand how the Braves got him so cheap. I don't understand why they couldn't keep Josh Donaldson.
The bringer of rain.
I was surprised that he ended up in Minnesota, but yesterday he hits a home run. And then, did you see this, Stugotz? Did you see what he did when he got to home plate?
I can't see everything, man. There's too many sports going on.
Okay, very good. You're very busy, and there is a lot of sports going on. So just to inform the audience, Josh Donaldson hit a home run and then just kicked dirt all over the home plate umpire's home plate, and then that umpire immediately kicked him out of the game.
Oh, I did see this.
You just didn't know who you were watching.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then the third pitch was supposed to be a ball. It was a ball, but the umpire called it a strike. And Josh was so mad at the umpire that the very next pitch, he hits a home run. And as he's running around the bases, he's like saying curses to himself. And as he touches home plate, he kicks dirt over home plate and gets ejected instantly.
All right, Tim, have you seen that before? You've seen a lot of baseball. Have you seen that?
No. Now, I'm sure it's happened that a hitter crosses home plate, says something to the umpire, and gets chucked out. I'm pretty sure that's happened. I've never seen anything so blatant as him to kick dirt on home plate while he's yelling at the umpire, while he's crossing after a home run. He just thought Dan Molino missed a call, and he wanted to let him know, basically, I don't know what he said, but you can miss a call, and I'm still going to hit a home run here. It's kind of typical Josh Donaldson. He's a tough guy. He doesn't back down to anyone, and he doesn't give a damn, which is what makes him such a good player.
My favorite part was because there's no fans, you could hear audio of them a little bit, and you could hear the umpire saying to Donaldson, "Oh, big tough guy. Yeah, keep walking. Big tough guy."
Well, but he was a big tough guy. I mean, it's great what he did. He hits a home run. I don't understand the economics of that sport when Atlanta got that guy cheap last year, Tim.
Yeah, he had a great year last year for the Braves. I did a lot of Braves games last year. They'll tell you that his personality and his aggressive nature really helped turn that team into an even better team. And I was surprised they didn't keep him. Now, they used that money to go upgrade their pitching, which they needed to do. But I was surprised he didn't return. But he got some good money to go to Minnesota, and I think the Twins looked at him the same way and say, we need a real hard-nosed guy in here to come yell at some people, and that's who Josh Donaldson can be.
Does Gardner Minshew look like the guy your mom almost married back in the day before she met your more conservative dad? Does Ryan Tannehill look like the soldier in an alien movie who gets sent in to investigate a crashed UFO? After looking around, he turns and says, "All clear," just as the monster disembowels him.
Yes!
He does look like that. Does Brad Stevens look like the next-door neighbor who stands at the top of his driveway, hands on hips, staring sternly at you for having too many cars parked in the cul-de-sac for your annual Oktoberfest party? Does Paul Feinbaum look like the villainous robber baron who challenges you to hot air balloon races around the world?
I'll save that forever.
See you later, Tim. Thank you for being on with us, sir. We appreciate it. Hold on a second. Don't let him go. Don't let him go. Stay there for a second. Does Adam Silver look like the candy stick inside a pack of Fun Dip?
Is that white?
See you later. See you later, Tim. No, stay right there. Hold on a second. Stay right there. Does Adam Silver look like a lamppost? See you later, Tim. Good talking to you.
That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Mike has news. Mike has news here. There's locker room commotion news. Shams is doing the reporting on this.
Wow. Shams Charania is reporting that the cursing that everyone heard from the Celtics locker room was actually everyone knew it was Marcus Smart, but it was actually directed at Jaylen Brown. They got into a heated confrontation in the locker room.
It's all falling apart.
Yes.
Pay that man his money.
Marcus Smart probably wants a little more out of Jaylen Brown. No?
I think a lot of people want a little bit more out of Jaylen Brown. And he's the key to their success because when he has a good, productive game, I think over 25 points, they're undefeated or something like that. It's crazy.
But does Jaylen Brown really want to hear after in the fourth quarter he hits 2 of the threes and he's got a corner 3 and it's wide open to tie it? Does he really want to hear from Marcus Smart in that situation?
Does anyone want to hear from Marcus Smart? I think he's a bit of an agitator.
But you feel bad enough, right? You've missed the 3 that would have tied, that would have brought you back into the game. It was a wide open corner 3.
Here's the deal with Marcus Smart. Whether or not you want to hear from him, you're going to hear from him.
Yeah,
okay?
but I'm telling you, like, how much of that do you? If you want to see how that escalates into confrontation, my guess is that Jaylen Brown is a little raw in that spot. Doesn't need to hear Marcus Smart's opinion on things.
Jaylen Brown was 8 of 14 last night. Marcus Smart was 5 of 13. Like, who's Marcus Smart?
Well, Jaylen Brown has a higher ceiling than Marcus Smart. They absolutely need more to win this series. They need more from Jaylen Brown. So it might be a turning point, Dan.
We are analyzing locker room commotions.
I think this is galvanizing the locker room.
Locker room commotions. We will see. We can tell you after game 3 whether they came apart or whether it brought them together.
I can't wait.
We've got to wait, though. We've got to wait. We need a game 3 scoreboard to tell you what the locker room commotion meant.
If it brings them together, Bill Simmons is writing a book on it.
Yes. That's Marcus Smart leadership. If it doesn't, locker room cancer. DraftKings, Stugotz, tell the people about DraftKings, where they could get their sports action.
It sure was nice seeing the teams back out on the field over the weekend. Lucky for us, that was just week 1. Plenty of time to go. There's no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. To add to this week's excitement, DraftKings has millions of dollars in total prizes up for grabs. If you haven't tried DraftKings yet, just head to the App Store now because you don't want to miss this. Draft your lineup now. Feel the sweat like never before. Every run, pass, and catch means more with a DraftKings lineup. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Download the DraftKings app now. Use code Dan. For a limited time, new users get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes this week. Don't miss out on the Week 2 action. Enter code Dan to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes with your first deposit. That's code Dan. Only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for all the details.
Fix this. Huh. Buh. Huh.
Stugotz.
Huh. Buh. Huh. Huh. Buh. Huh.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Top down.
All guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. If there's a game, someone's betting on it. Stream Better Days, the new Mike Greenberg-hosted series about epic sports betting stories told by the bettors themselves. Stream new episodes every week only on ESPN+.
So for many years now, we have been doing this celebrity prognosticator where we go and grab random celebrities, whether they know anything about football or not, preferably when they don't know about football, even better. And we go up against Colin Cowherd. And I believe, Mike, we're either 2-1 in 3 seasons or 2-2 in 4 seasons. But last year we made just an unbelievable comeback. And Colin Cowherd totally fell apart, and we won at the end of the season. And so Steve-O has now gotten us started, Stugotz, because he is 3-2.
Yep. And
Colin Cowherd was 2-3. And so we are calling Steve-O now, trying to locate him so that we can do a celebrity prognosticator. And we're hoping to do that at some point before noon Eastern. If not, we'll throw it into the post-game show. But before we do anything else, Christine Lisi, I'm sorry we interrupted you.
The U.S. Navy once dropped a toilet on Vietnam during the war. Speaking of poop that was dropped on an unsuspecting nation years ago, here's Dan and Stu.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Oh, both of us.
Thank
both
you.
of us get
Yes.
smeared by the feces there. Thank you. I want to talk about pop culture stuff. I want to talk about how Dane Cook put together a table reading to raise money for charity of Fast Times at Ridgemont High using a whole bunch of famous people.
No way.
Aniston and Pitt were on there. Morgan Freeman was on there. Sean Penn was on there. It was a whole lot of celebrity people. I was
Dane
surprised
Cook did
that
this?
I was surprised that Dane Cook had the ability in 2020 to pull together this cast of people. That was my reaction. My reaction was exactly the same as yours. Was really, is it the same Dane Cook, a most popular comedian in America across a bright shining sky? Because Boston just. Boston supports guys like Dane Cook, and Dane Cook gets to rise to the places that Joe Rogan and Bill Simmons and Barstool Sports gets to rise because Boston really supports sports and cares about sports, and Boston has a full-fledged, in the sport they love, in the town of Larry Bird, a locker room commotion caused by the Miami Heat. There has been a commotion. There's reporting around the bubble and the commotion. Marcus Smart is yelling at Jaylen Brown. Look at the smile on Mike Ryan's face under that terrible Gardner twin shoe mustache. The Miami Heat have made the Boston Celtics have a commotion in their locker room. Feel that.
I'm not certain if it's commotion or Marcus Smart is just always mad at somebody.
Well, there's that as well.
Right.
But he's not always mad at somebody. He's just mad at people when they're down 0-2.
Right.
He made a bunch of shots in game one, and Jaylen Brown made some shots late, but that was look, what you have happening in this series. Mike, help me out here because I tend to be pretty terrible at remembering where it is that people were drafted. But in terms of narratives, if you want to go down the path of guys who have been cast aside or doubted or not considered the very top picks coming out of the draft, Boston has the guys that are indisputably top of the draft talents that everyone agrees you take that guy high. Miami does not have those guys. It's Goran Dragic. Even their young guys like Duncan Robinson, undrafted, Bam and Tyler Hero, middle of the first round, not lottery picks.
Yeah, once you get to the middle of the first round, you're hoping for someone that can make some contributions at that point. Superstardom is certainly far from guaranteed, but top three, like the likes of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown was a very high pick. Yeah, you'd expect certainly a higher ceiling than what Miami's getting, where I think the highest drafted player they have is actually Andre Iguodala, who played 7 minutes last night.
You guys have brought up the zone that the Heat are playing, and it's amazing because Kirk Goldsberry is sending out some stats right now. The Celtics, the main players, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, for the season 2019-2020, those guys 21 of 70 from three when the Heat play that zone. And in this series versus man defense, they have 56.7% effective field goal percentage, 1.15 points per possession, versus the zone, it's 39.5 and 0.94 points per possession.
This is crazy. What just happened?
It's impressive.
Stugotz reading numbers on the radio. No, what just happened on our radio show? Stugotz reading, informing himself of and doing math radio.
Well, because you guys keep bringing up the zone that the Heat are playing, and I hadn't noticed how effective it was against the Celtics offense, but reading this from Kirk makes it,
Well, they were 0 for 11 from 3 over a stretch against the zone last night.
Yeah, it's a metric that you can point to and say, coaching. Boston needs to figure it out. The coaching is, can we figure it out? Or is it on the players to figure it out? Because Toronto also changed their series by playing Boston zone. This is how you play the Boston Celtics.
But, Mike, help me with the draft positioning of all of the players who are on the Celtics at the top of their food chain, because I am bad at remembering. Bomani Jones can do this into the 70s, like the first pick in the draft. Bob Ryan can do a bunch of this, where he can just pick and tell you
Jaylen
where
Brown
guys
was 3rd overall. I remember that.
and Kemba and Jason Tatum and Gordon Hayward was also
They were top picks,
a high draft pick, was he not?
Yeah, I have it right here. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, both 3rd overall picks. Marcus Smart, 6th overall. Kemba Walker, 8th. Gordon Hayward, 9th. The Heat have 13 with Hero, 14th overall with Bam. Jimmy Butler, 30th. Jay Crowder, 34th. Goran Dragic, 45th. Duncan Robinson, undrafted.
So if you like those narratives, this is what you have happening in this series. Where, look, man, if it's based on skill level and how people do the assessments, the empirical numbers, the testing, the Boston Celtics are a more talented basketball team. And the Heat believe in all that stuff, the culture stuff that makes Bam Adebayo look like a world beater at the rim and look like not some kind of inferior athlete when Jason Tatum is going up at the rim on him and he's blocking him. Like the Miami Heat very much believe all of the stuff that turns a number 14 into someone who denies the number 3 at the rim. And Marcus Smart, while, Marcus Smart's an interesting character study for the Boston Celtics because he seems like a bit of an overachiever, even though he's 6th overall, and everyone cites him as guy who will chew you up in a dumpster. Like guy who is the overachiever, even though he's picked number 6, whereas Tatum is, just look at him. Just look at how silky smooth all that is. Just the skin like a porpoise, hairless like a porpoise, while Marcus Smart's got all sorts of growth on his face.
Like a porpoise?
Skin like a porpoise is not exactly. I've never. You got away with words, man. I've never heard Jason Tatum
But just look
described.
at my point is Jason Tatum is smooth. Smooth like a porpoise's skin, without hair, up at the rim, 6'9".
What happened to Steve-O?
What did happen to Steve-O? Are we still expecting him?
Guys, it's Steve-O. All right? His last initial is not O.
Oh.
Don Le Batard.
It's Friday. I'm getting into the weekend. I want to get my drink on.
Stugotz.
We've got to open up the club. Open it. Open it. Open it. Now. What is the computer buffering? There it is.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Sounds this week have been brought to you by My Computer Career, training for a better life.
All right, I don't know exactly how to explain this to the audience, what it is to work with Stugotz in a tight space. We will get to the club in a second.
Sorry.
But I don't know whether I should say it's from the cartoon world or whether or not I don't know what original Men in Black, where in a small room something starts pinballing around at a high rate of speed and everyone has to get out of the room. You know the kind of scene I'm talking about, right? A rubber ball bouncing at a high rate of speed all over a small room, just ricocheting all over the place for 2 minutes without an ability for anyone to stop it.
Flubber, the Robin Williams vehicle.
Perfect.
So nothing more recent than that, though? We can't do anything more recent. It's all old references.
I'm sounding old with Flubber? Come on now.
Regardless, this is what I just got hit with, okay?
I just got hit with my age.
The barrage I just got hit with was, and these are non sequiturs. It's just things he throws against the side of my face during breaks. He's not talking to me. He just wants to be heard by somebody. Wow. He's not talking to me because I'm not having a conversation. I'm closing my eyes. I'm hiding behind a mask. I'm trying to concentrate on the job we do.
I am just keeping everyone on the show informed as to what's going on in the world of sports and hoping that something sticks and maybe perhaps we use it on the show.
It's interesting, okay, because I've got 5 things here, and maybe some of them were to be helpful, but here are the 5 things Stugotz said during just this break, okay?
Flubber was 23 years ago.
What?
Hey, Giannis winning consecutive MVPs. Has there ever been a guy who's won a couple of those before making a final? Then he follows it with, he's one of the few sales guys I like.
Yeah.
Then he follows it with, all I need here is a +1, an even, or a -1. And then just totally randomly at the very end, Stanton really floats in and out of the lineup.
Yeah, Mark Feldman's the sales guy that I like. The +1, even, -1. That is Justin Thomas. If you want this thing to be close to the U.S. Open, I'm very excited about it. You want JT to go +1, -1, or even today, okay? You don't want him to go like -4. Then he starts pulling away from the pack. I forget what else I was talking about. But and by the way, that little nugget that you used, what was the first one there?
Giannis.
You used that on the show. I mean, so you're welcome
That's
for
a good
that.
nugget. Yeah, you're also missing the part where he got up, put his mask on, only to open my door and tell me that Bryson just hit a 35-foot putt.
Yeah, well, it's not enough that he dent the side of my face in with his heater breath and his nonstop, unrelenting opinions.
Mike, I thought we were DeChambros. I mean,
we
me
are
and you.
DeChambros.
That's why I came in and told you, because if he wins this thing on Monday, you and I have to wear our caps.
Well, I got mine. Cobra.
Which of you in the shipping container was helped by Stugotz's "he's one of the few sales guys I like"? He was trying to help the show there. Let's open up the club. Vote on the polls at Batard Show.
I'm sorry.
An assortment of sounds from the week and beyond. 8:51 on the West Coast. We're opening up the club. 8:51 a.m. First sound in the club.
Bam Adebayo, well coached by Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins, all about them goons, continues to be all about them goons from Dade County. Heat lifer, Kendrick Perkins, who is most associated with winning championships for the Celtics. Also, Celtic fans, you have a commotion in your locker room. Kendrick Perkins has already bailed on your team. Mike Ryan spent the evening listening to Boston Sports Radio and phone calls that were simply crying.
I have these notes, but I gotta say I'm just fired up to be here today.
Steve Ballmer.
Pretty cool, pretty damn cool. Woo!
Yeah, that was Steve Ballmer introducing Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Come on, get up if you're psyched as I am.
Yeah, that is not great today. Who else in the club? That was disturbing. Oh my. Okay. What was that all about? Was that Chris Cody during the local hour making? Oh my. Okay. Sensual sounds. Yes. Oh my. Okay. There it is. Yes. Oh my. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there. That's the one. No, that's the one that creeped me out right there. Please stop that. No. Ya, basta. No, por favor. No, déjame. No. Ay. Yeah. You're disgusted with yourself. We're all disgusted with you. That is the heat sound that came out of his body of enthusiasm and excitement. That freckled body gave you that. Below the waist. This is unpleasant. Please stop it. No, stop. That is what the Heat did to Miami last night. Yes, that was all of Miami last night. I want him to stop too, Chris.
Please stop.
Yes, we are all disgusted by you, Chris. That was you. That was you. Yes, all of that was Miami Heat basketball. Deeply unpleasant.
I like it.
I do too, but it's deeply unpleasant. I'm very conflicted about everything happening here. I don't like it, but I love it. Oh my, okay. Who else in the club?
Just guess. Oh, fire alarm. The heat is on.
Whoa.
That is a fire alarm going off during our show. That's what my experience is with Stugotz hot takes in a confined area. No, that is not my experience.
+1, even, -1.
Stanton really floats in and out of the lineup.
Oh, he does.
He's one of the few sales guys I like.
Okay.
That is Chris Cody laughing. That is more like the sound Chris Cody makes when having sex. No, not that one. The other one. No, not that one.
My wife does.
This was the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
We live in a racist country.